Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be crafting for Father's Day just to provide a few gift inspiration ideas. Here I am weeding out a design that I found on Cricut Design Space. The vinyl I am using is a permanent black vinyl from the Paper Studio, which is a Hobby Lobby brand. And as you can see, there is quite a bit of space in the middle of this design. In the middle of this design, it says garage, so it'll be Dad's garage hideout. And how I achieved this was by using the contour feature in Cricut Design Space. And I chose to do it this way because I wanted the garage in a different colored vinyl. So I cut this out all in black, removing the garage again with the contour tool. And then I went back and contoured everything else so I would have only the text garage and then cut that out in a red vinyl. The red vinyl here is Oracle 651. Oracle is by far my favorite permanent vinyl. Regardless of what surface you're putting it on, whether it's going to be inside or outside, it adheres well and it's long lasting and it doesn't seem to fade from being outside. I have a decal on my truck that's been there for a little over a year and it is in white and it still is in perfect condition. Here I'm just weeding out the centers of the letters and sticking them to one another on the end of this carrier sheet here. Now to prep the vinyl to be adhered to the surface. As you can see, this is Cricut transfer tape. It is a medium tacked. I don't mind using it. I've heard some bad reviews on it in the past, but I have not had any problems with it thus far. I do varnish both sides of the design just to make sure that it adheres to the transfer tape as well as it can. Now I am aligning it the best that I can and varnishing once more on this wooden plaque. This wooden plaque here I bought from the Dollar Tree. It was actually $3, but I thought it was a really good buy because it comes with the hardware on the back for easy hanging. And now I'm just going to cut a piece off to apply the garage. Now, you'll see in a moment, this transfer tape does not cover the full text of the garage. A little bit of the G and the E are exposed, so I'm just going to be very careful as I varnish this down, avoiding that area, just so it doesn't damage or scratch the vinyl. Now you can see the design coming to life. I really love the red and the black. It stands out so well, and it's a perfect color aesthetic for my husband. Just aligning it as good as I can. Not the best at aligning, but it seems straight right here. And once again, just being careful and trying not to scratch the little ends of the G and the E. Now taking my poker tool here, just carefully removing the transfer tape, making sure each letter is adhered well to the wooden plaque. And there you go. It is done. Craft number 1. Let's move on to the next one. As you can see here, I have 2 grilling tools. I purchased these at a local grocery store here in Colorado. During the recording of this video, my husband and I are in Colorado for a vacation at the Rocky Mountain National Park. So this grocery store had multiple packs and multiple grilling tools. I decided to purchase just 2. Sometimes a pack is overkill. The person doesn't need all of those grilling tools. So here I just purchased what we needed, and I am weeding out the centers of this text. This is an iron-on vinyl, and I believe it is Cricut brand. I am using my mini heat press on medium. It called for about 20 seconds, although I did have to heat it up in certain areas a little longer than that. The carrier sheet was sliding quite a bit. I should have used a heat tape to keep it in place because the born to grill is not exactly aligned, but it's not too obvious. So it works. Here you can see that I am looking at some of the letters and seeing how it is adhering. So I'm going to take in the heat press once more and apply a little bit more heat just to make sure that it is adhered as good as it can be without warping the letters. And this is a cool peel, so I'm just going to sit and wait and then remove the carrier sheet here in a moment. So here I am pulling up the carrier sheet just to check. It is cooled down at this point, and I am having a little issues with that bee not really sticking well. So I'm going to go take that carrier sheet in once more and just heat up that bee a little bit longer. The rest of the letters adhered well, so I don't want to apply the heat to the entire text again because those letters will end up warping a bit and you'll be able to tell that too much heat was applied. So there you go, Born to Grill. I love it. Something so simple but personal, and obviously you could go in many directions with this, but that's craft number 2. So here you can see a white vinyl. It is iron-on. This vinyl I purchased from Amazon, and it is the first time that I'm using it. I will link everything that I use in this video in the description box below. So this is the beginning stage of this, and this is something that did not work. This SVG is from Cricut Design Space, and here I am beginning to weed out a very intricate, smaller design. The size is a 4x4. And I was using the SVG as a reference on my computer so I could, try to make sure that I was weeding out the correct areas, and I still messed up. And I think it's just because it's too small of a design. It just needs to be bigger so you can see those details a bit more. If you have a Cricut light, something like this would probably work perfect with that, so you could see the details a bit more. But I do not have one of those, and at this point I am wishing that I did, because I am holding it to the light, trying to get those angles to see where I need to remove the excess vinyl here. So that one was a dud. I actually cut it out another time and tried to weed it out again because I really wanted this look, and it just would not work. So I decided to go with a different design for the front. That's a lot more simple, as you'll be able to see here in a moment. So here is the shirt, and when I was saying front, I was talking about the design for the front of a shirt. I'm going to iron on a design on the front and back. Here I'm just prepping the shirt with a lint roller. This t-shirt here is actually from Walmart. It was only $6.98. The material is great, and it's perfect for gift giving, but also inexpensive enough to test on. So here's an example of what I was going for, with a smaller design on the front and then replicated on the back. This is the exact same shirt from Walmart, just in gray, and I was testing out black vinyl for this one, and I won't recommend it because I didn't care for it too much, but this was the look that I was going for, so I wanted to show you that example. Okay, so now that our shirt is prepped from the lint roller and I've applied a little heat to it as well with my heat press to remove any moisture, I am now making sure that the placement of this design is in the correct spot. I am referring back to that other shirt that I showed you as an example for the correct measurements of this design, because this placement fits well for my husband and his body structure. Just making sure it is placed, and now we are going to apply heat. It is 315 for 30 seconds with firm pressure. So now the 30 seconds is up. I am going to remove that heat press mat because it holds so much heat. And as you can see, I am turning my shirt over and I am pressing it firmly on the glass mat to remove that heat. quite fast. This is lifetime, so you're actually able to see how long it takes to remove that heat for a cool peel. And it takes no time at all. If you don't have a glass mat, just always remove your heat press mat because that holds in so much heat and it will take quite a bit longer to cool your design down. Here I'm just removing the carrier sheet carefully so I don't pull up any of the design, and all the stars were adhered perfectly, so 30 seconds at 315 degrees Fahrenheit worked perfect. So now time for the back design. Once more going in with my mat and prepping my shirt with a lint roller and a little heat before I place my design on the back. And you will finally be able to see the distress flag with the fish that I've been talking about. So here's this little stinker, and the flag and the fish both have pretty intricate pieces that needed to be weeded out. The larger version was much easier, and once again I was using the SVG on the computer as a reference, as a guide to weed out the correct portions of this design. I am just paying attention to the placement and measuring the design from right to left, and also paying attention to how far the design is from the neckline, just to make sure that it is in the correct spot before we apply any heat. Sorry there, I bumped my camera with my head. And as I was laying the design down, I noticed a little bit of excess vinyl that needed to be removed on the carrier sheet. I don't want that ironed down, so you need to make sure that all pieces that you do not want to be ironed down are removed. So I'm looking over it carefully before I apply my heat press. So once more, going in with my heat press at 315 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 seconds. I am applying firm pressure, and now 30 seconds is up, and once more we have to wait for this to cool down before we peel it up. So now that I've given it ample time to cool down, I am carefully removing this carrier sheet from the design. At this point, I'm a little nervous because it is quite difficult to remove the carrier sheet. So I am paying attention to the design and making sure that it is adhered to the shirt, and it is. I'm contemplating at this point if I should just leave the carrier sheet alone and apply more heat, but decided just to remove the entire carrier sheet and inspect the design and move forward with heat if necessary. Just going slow and steady because it is so sticky, but there it's removed and the design adhered perfectly. Nothing is lifting up, and I am pleased with the results. In the future, when I use this iron on vinyl again, I think I'm going to apply a little more heat to see if that carrier sheet will be removed a little bit easier. So here you go, all 3 inspirational gift ideas for this year's Father's Day. All of the designs here are from Cricut Design Space, and there I'm showing you the hardware from this plaque, what once more was from Dollar Tree for $3. And there is the back of the design. I absolutely love how that fish turned out, and I'm showing you a little bit of the front. I hope this gives you some inspiration to try for your next t-shirt. I don't see people ironing on designs on the front and the back very often, so that's why I wanted to share that today. I hope this inspired you in some way, and y'all have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.